Just before going. Where's the clock? Oh, it isn't on. There you go. Oh. Oh, I did too. I'm like, what's it doing over there? It's off. There you go. And it went off again. Good morning. For our in Good morning, everyone. Please stand and join us in our opening song, Use Me. The lyrics are on the screen. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here all about as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth for the stars, for all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you and hear all about as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you and hear all about as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you and hear all about as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Good morning again. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. My name is Fran Peck, and I will be serving as Sunday service host today. And hello to our online viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and the CLF website as well. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please make sure to leave a comment and let us know you're here so that we can acknowledge you. I don't see anyone here for the first time, but if you're online and you're here for the first time, please leave us a message that it's your first time, and sign up for our newsletter on our website so that you can find out all of the things that we have going on here at CLF. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with tools for living our best possible lives. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that life with a capital L, intends and wants to give us every good thing. Here's a little bit about our order of service today. Our staff minister, Reverend Jorge Suarez, facilitated our pre-service meditation. Thank you, Reverend Jorge. Practitioner Lori Murray is holding High Watch virtually for this service. That means that she is sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, holding up a space for the perfect unfoldment of this service and for our day. Thank you, Lori. Reverend Mary Jane Hyde is serving as practitioner of the day, and she will be offering our evocation. That will be followed by our congregational chant, The World. I think we all know it by now. Please sing it with feeling and meaning and be interactive with it. Kirsten Plambeck, today's musical inspiration, will be leading us in the chant. The lyrics will be on the screen. After the chant, Reverend Mary Jane Hyde will be back with the inspirational reading of the day. Right now, here's Reverend Mary Jane with the evocation.
Good morning, CLF. Good. All right. So let's take this energy, this lovely energy, fun and laughter and just peace and harmony and infinite wealth, infinite knowledge, health. These are the attributes of God that I'm calling forth here to express through us right here, right now, as we go about this service. That those attributes of the divine are within me. They're expressing in, through, and as me, as those same attributes are present and expressing through each person here. It is love and it's peace, it's harmony, it's joy, it's health, wealth, infinite flow, infinite intelligence. Those are the characteristics that I see flowing through us right here, right now. Oh, and infinite energy and joy. I don't know. I think I said joy, but joy again. Lots of joy. And so that's this energy is what we express here. And it is what we express out through us, through Creative Living Fellowship and out into the world. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for everybody that's here who is a part of this service, those who are here to just partake of the service. And I'm grateful for the inspirational words that we will hear from Reverend Sherry. And I'm just grateful for this day and to be a part of this Creative Living Fellowship. Thank you, Spirit, thank you, God, and so it is.
The world is a place of great love for all. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, I am a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, you are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, we are a place of great peace. The world is a place of great peace.
So the reading today is I Seek Room for Peace. It's from Meditations of the Heart by Howard Thurman. I seek the enlargement of my heart, that there may be room for peace. Already there is room enough for chaos. There is in everyday's experience much that makes for confusion and bewilderment. bewilderment. Often I do not understand quite how my relations with others become frayed and chaotic. Sometimes this chaos is a positive thing. It means that something new and creative and whole is beginning to pull together the tattered fragments of my relationship with a person and to fashion it into that which delights the spirit and makes glad the heart. Sometimes the chaos is negative, a sign of degeneration in a relationship once meaningful and good. There is room enough for chaos. But the need of my heart is for the room for peace. Peace of mind that inspires singleness of purpose. Peace of heart that quiets all fears and uproots all panic. Peace of spirit that filters through all confusion and robs them of their power. These I seek now. And I know that here in this quietness, my life can be infused with peace. Therefore, before God, I seek the enlargement of my heart at this moment, that there may be peace, room for peace, that there may be room for peace. Namaste.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one that picks, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you of tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your dreams, the one you know by. Teach your parents well, the children's hell did surely go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one that picks, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you, and know they love you, and know they love you.
That was a wow, huh? That wakes you right up. Thank you so much, Kirsten Plambeck. We're so glad to have you back today. Good morning, everybody. Let's just take a deep breath together. Ah, as we come into this middle of the month of November already. As you know, our theme for the month is waging peace. And we are waging peace instead of waging war, because the war is happening everywhere, the external kind and the internal kind. And we are committed to being peace wagers. And so this month we're talking about waging peace, and just recognizing that peace begins with each one of us. And if you recall, last week I had asked everybody to take a copy of, or to revisit during your spiritual practice, the lyrics to the peace song, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." And really take it into your hearts, really take it into your minds, really take it into your being, and be committed to allowing peace to begin with each one of us. I hope you did that last week. I really looked at it differently, and I felt it differently because I was working and reading it during my spiritual practice time, and it really makes a difference. And so, just in keeping with our theme, waging peace, last week, I was saying that waging peace, we do so starting out with consciously recognizing that we're all one, recognizing that we're united, recognizing that power and that presence that is our very life, and that it is everywhere present, and that we are not separate, even though we act like we are. And so this week, I'm talking about kindness, transformational kindness. And kindness is really a way that we can get to peace within us, and we have to have peace within us to get to kindness. I mean, the two are interchangeable and inextricable, so they come together in transformational kindness. And I like that term, transformational kindness, because kindness can be transformational. It can transform our lives. It can transform us. It can transform a situation or a circumstance. And that's what we want to just look at this week, at how can we allow transformational kindness to become a part of who we are and how we live our lives. I was listening to a podcast, a couple of weeks ago, and a woman was describing how she had an experience she had. She was going into a grocery store, and as she was coming up the steps to the store, there was a man there who was asking people who passed by for change, if they had any extra change. And when he approached her and asked for extra change, she said, "Get the heck out of my face. Get away from me. I don't have change to give you. I don't have." And she stormed off and stormed into the store. She was annoyed by his presence and the fact that he was asking for something. And she said once she got into the store and got her cart and was wheeling around, she stopped all of a sudden and she said, "What on earth is wrong with me? What on earth could have happened to me? Why did I respond that way? Why did I react that way?" And she said she felt so bad and she felt so ashamed that she wanted to go back out and apologize to him. She was praying that he would still be there when she came back out so she could let him know how sorry she was and how embarrassed she was and how ashamed she felt. And so she came back out of the store, and sure enough, he was still there. And when she approached him, she said to him, "I am so sorry for the way that I acted. I apologize to you. I had no right to treat you that way and to speak with you that way." And she said, as she was trying to tell him how bad she felt, he took her hand in his hand, and then he took both her hands in his hands, and he looked her in the eye, and he said, "It's really okay. It's really okay." And she said she started to cry because of compassion that he had for her, and the way that in his kindness toward her just, just tore down all her defenses, tore down all the things that it made her very vulnerable. All the things that she felt that she was hiding behind, she just released all that because of his kindness toward her. And she said she'd never had that experience. She'd never had that kind of feeling before. As a result of that encounter with him, she decided that she was going to start doing kindness workshops, kindness teachings, kindness, just let kindness be a part of her life, a part of her experience, and really, really take that further out into the world. But what she talked more about was how it had transformed her life. That one moment in time had transformed her life. It made her just think about things differently. It made her think about herself differently. It made her start to react and respond to people differently. And she recognized that the kindness really, the transformational kindness really came from him to her. And so that really touched my heart when I heard that, and I thought about that, and how just those little encounters that we can have with people sometimes, when we least expect them, that can be life changing. And when something like that happens for each one of us, in our own individual lives, then that transfers into our families, into our communities, into the world. That's how we get peace out into the world, because it's impossible to have, excuse me, it's impossible to have kindness without peace, or peace without kindness. And particularly peace without kindness. We can't, peace cannot start with each one of us unless there is kindness, unless we are treating someone the way we'd like to be treated, which is what the golden rule of kindness is. It's taken off. It's taken from the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule of kindness is treat others the way you would have them treat you. Treat others the way you would have them treat you. Think about that. Treat others the way you would have them treat you. And with all the things that are going on in the world today, and the way that there's so much divisiveness and so many issues with the way that people treat each other today, when we just can stop and think about treating others the way we would have them treat us, then the world would be a totally different place. The world would be a totally different place. Our experience of the world would be totally different if we would allow ourselves to just be in a place of openness, be in a place of open-heartedness, be in a place of acceptance, be in a place of really thinking about others as we think about ourselves, treating others as we would like to be treated. And so that's what kindness is all about. And that's what I'm inviting each of us to really think about today. How can we hear a lot about kindness, but do we really practice it? What we see a lot of today is, it seems sometimes that people are trying to see how unkind they can be. People are trying to see how unkind they can be to others, how cruel they can be to others sometimes. And what we can transform that just by being kind to people that we encounter. Being kind to people that we encounter each and every day, each and every moment of each and every day, whether it's a family member, whether it's a coworker, or whether it's a stranger, or somebody you pass as you're going on about your way. The important thing for us is to remember that kindness is, and it can be an acknowledgement of people. It can be a kind word. It can be connection. It can be support. It can be a compliment. How can you be kind to somebody today? How can you be kind to somebody? What can you do in each moment to be kind? Starting out with yourself. How can you be kind to yourself? Because, we're not always kind to ourselves. With ourselves, we sometimes get into beating up on ourselves, shaming ourselves, blaming ourselves, judging ourselves. We do all that. All those unkind things toward ourselves. So how could we then take this kindness out into the world when we are not letting it begin with us? Let there be kindness on earth, and let it begin with me. Just like let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And so just keeping that in mind as we go through these days, as we go through our lives, as we go through this world, as we go through these difficult times that we find ourselves in. Just how can we open our hearts to someone else? How can we, after we open our hearts to ourselves, how can we open our hearts to someone else without judging? Without judging. That's a big one. Without judging, because we judge so quickly. We judge so quickly that we don't even think about it. We see somebody who looks different, who acts different, who speaks differently or whatever, and we immediately move into separation. We immediately move into judgment. I remember a few years ago, right after the 2016 presidential election, I was sitting in a Starbucks writing one morning, and one of the employees came into the coffee shop area of the coffee shop where I was, and turned on 2 TVs, and each one was turned to a particular cable news channel. And of course, there was all this news about the election that had just taken place. I was the only one in there, so I wasn't paying attention to it. I could hear it going on, and after a bit, a man walked into the room, and he sat at a table right next to mine. Well, as soon as I saw him walk in, I felt myself close up. I felt myself just tense up, because I just thought, oh, I hope he's not going to say anything to me about the election and all that, because I don't want to talk to him about that. And he looks just like the kind of person who would talk to me about that election. I had figured all that out just by seeing him walk into the room. And so when he sat there for a minute, and sure enough, as soon as he caught his breath, he started talking. And he said, well, there was a story first of all, there was a story on the news about a fire that had taken place. And he said to me that he used to be a firefighter, and he had fallen through a floor once. He was a volunteer firefighter, and he had fallen through a floor once while he was fighting a fire. And I answered very politely and continued to do what I was doing without, didn't want to open up too much, because I didn't want him to really talk to me that much. And then after a bit, he said, election news came on. After a bit, he said, were you happy with the outcome of the election? And I said, no, I really wasn't. And he said, well, I was, because I'm a businessman, and I really think that this new president will be able to really help me in my business. His policies will be able to help me in my business, and my business can grow, and I can see where it would be really beneficial to me. And without looking up, I said, well, that's really great. And I just hope and pray that this new president will make decisions that are for the highest and best of all concern, of all people. And he looked at me for a minute, and he said, I never really thought about that. But that's really a way to look at that. And I said, yes, it is. And then I went right back to ignoring him and writing. And then he said, my daughter's getting married in a few months, and I'm going to be walking her down the aisle. And I looked up, and he had tears in his eyes. That's how close he was sitting to me. He had tears in his eyes, and he said, I'm going to be walking her down the aisle, and I just get emotional every time I think about it. And he said, my wife has just gotten really sick of me crying all over the place about her getting married. He said, but this is my only daughter. So I stopped and looked at him then, and I said, you know what? Just think about what a blessing it is for you to have this opportunity, for you and your daughter, what a blessing it is to have this opportunity to share this day, to share this moment in time together. This is a moment you'll never have again, so enjoy it and let your emotions be what they are. And he said, thank you. And then he said, do you have children? And I figured out then that I wasn't going to write, because he was going to talk to me. And I said, yes, as a matter of fact, I have an only daughter also. And so we chatted for a bit, and we agreed the daughters are the best. And we just connected in that way. And then he just talked and talked and talked. And he sat there for the longest time, and then he talked a little more, and he got emotional again. And then finally he said, I've got to go to work. And he blew his nose, and he got up, and he said, it's been really nice talking with you. I agreed with him that it had been nice talking with him, and he left. And then a few moments later, he came back, and he had 2 Starbucks bags, and he handed one to me, and he said, these are Starbucks cranberry pastries. I bought one for you, and I bought one for me, because God told me to bring one to you. And I always do what God tells me to do. And I was so surprised. I said, oh, that was so nice of you. I said, thank you. I was so shocked. I said, thank you so much. He said, no, you don't understand. You really lifted my spirits today. You lifted my spirits in a way that they haven't been lifted in a long time. And so as I was leaving, God told me to bring you this, and I'm doing what God told me to do. And so I thanked him. We wished each other happy holidays because it was in December. And then he left. And I sat there thinking about how I had judged him when he first walked in, and how apparently he didn't judge me, or if he did, he wouldn't have come over and talked to me. I would never have gone over to talk with him. But how he came over to talk with me and opened his heart to me, even though I had closed off from him and was wishing that he would just go away and leave me alone because I didn't want to talk about what he was going to want to talk about. All of that judgment that I had, and his act of kindness toward me helped me to open my heart so that I could reciprocate with an act of kindness that I wasn't even deliberately intending toward him, just being myself toward him. That encounter has been with me ever since, and that was 2016. Here we are all these years later, and I still remember that situation. I still remember the encounter. I still remember what felt like a healing that had happened between the two of us. It felt like a healing had happened. It felt like a wall had dropped between the two of us because of his act of kindness toward me. And then it became a reciprocal thing. This is what transformational kindness is about, because one thing I learned from that was to stop judging people by the way they look. Even though sometimes certain thoughts come up, we don't have to act on those. We don't have to close our hearts. We don't have to close our minds. We don't have to close our entire being because somebody looks a certain way, or because they act a certain way, or whatever the case may be. We can extend ourselves. We can open up. We can find points of connection. That's one of the things about kindness. Kindness is connecting with people. And he and I connected. Yes, we had differences, but we found a point a commonality that we had daughters. And each one of us loved to talk about our daughters. So we spent time doing that. That was commonality. That was connection. And that's what kindness is about. It's about really connecting with people that we wouldn't ordinarily connect with. But if we deliberately set our intention to practice kindness, to be kind, to treat others the way we'd like to be treated, then connecting with someone else. Sometimes it's just a matter of a smile. And you can't imagine what a smile means to people sometimes. Someone you don't know, just smiling at them means that you are acknowledging them, you see them. Acknowledging people, making eye contact with people. And I'm sure you've heard me say before, when we see people who are standing on the corner with a cup or a hand out or whatever, or asking for money or whatever, even if you're not going to give them something, look at them. Make eye contact. And sometimes if we get to the light, what we'll do is look the other way. Not make eye contact, particularly if you're not going to give them money or whatever they're asking for. But even if you're not going to give them something, just making eye contact, acknowledging their presence, acknowledging their presence, acknowledging their presence. Do you know how important that is to people? What an impact that can have on people? Let's take a breath. I had a woman call me last year. Well, it may have been a couple of years ago now, but at any rate, it's been since we have been working from home from COVID. But at any rate, this woman called me, and she was telling me that she had seen our Sunday service on Facebook, and she told me that she lived in her car, and that most of the time she spent under a bridge down by Thomas, I think she said, on 44th Street in Thomas. And she was talking about her experiences living under this bridge and living in her car. And I asked her a few questions about it. And she said, the worst part about that is that when I encounter people who don't live under that bridge, I feel like a non-person because they don't look at me. They don't acknowledge me. It's like I don't exist. It's like I'm invisible. And that's what happens when you don't have a home to live in, is that people don't don't pay attention. They don't acknowledge. They don't connect with me. She says, and for the first time in my life, I began to realize what it feels like to be a non-person. And that really touched me, because how often do we not look at each other? How often do we not listen to each other? How often do we not acknowledge each other? How often do we not connect with each other? How important it is for us to connect. How important it is for us to really open our hearts. How important it is to not shut people out, not shut ourselves out. How important it is for us not to be shut out. Ernest Holmes says the door to the kingdom of God swings both ways. What we shut out will shut us out, because the door swings both ways. And so that's what we have to keep in mind. The door to the kingdom of God swings both ways. We have to open our hearts so that love goes out, so that kindness goes out, so that peace goes out, so that when that door swings back, peace comes in, kindness comes in, love comes in. That's what transformational kindness is about. That's what transformational kindness is about. That's what can change our lives. Kindness is like a healing balm. It's like a healing balm. Science has shown that kindness really impacts our immune system. It impacts the immune system of the recipient of our kindness, and it impacts the immune system of people who just observe acts of kindness. Kindness just really works that way. It works like a healing balm. And so I'm asking you today, do you want to be a healer? In addition to being a peace wager, being a healer. Being a healer by being a giver of transformational kindness. And if you do, I remember a talk that I did a few years ago about kindness, and I was talking about premeditated kindness. Think about premeditated kindness. Premeditated kindness is when you have determined that you are going to be kind to everyone you meet, everyone you encounter. How can you, and it would be different in every situation, of course, but how can you be different to different and kind to everyone you encounter? Whether it's on the phone, whether it's at work, whether it's our families, whether it's driving down the street, whether it's on Facebook or some other social media platform, whatever it may be. Commit to being a giver of premeditated kindness. When you plan it out, when you figure out how it's going to happen, how you're going to be kind, what you're going to do, if you're going to connect, if you're going to support, if you're going to compliment, if you're going to do whatever it is, think about it and plan it. That's what premeditation is all about. That's the lawyer in me that's thinking about premeditation. But premeditated kindness, think about that. Think about how different the world would be if we all decided that we're going to practice premeditated kindness, and our intention is for it to be transformational kindness, for it to make changes in people's lives, for it to make changes in our own lives, because when we can do something that changes another person's life, we are changing our own life, because there's only one. We're all a part of the one life. We're all a part of the same life, that life that is God's life. And so I'm inviting you today to really, as a peace wager, commit to premeditated kindness, commit to transformational kindness, commit to premeditated kindness that transforms lives, And that transforming means changes lives, little ways, big ways, changes lives, period. Changes a situation. If you see yourself and find yourself in a situation that could go haywire, could go crazy, an act of kindness from you could change the whole atmosphere. A thought of kindness, a word of kindness, a word of support, a word of a peaceful word, if you will. A peaceful word could make all the difference in the world. Could make all the difference in the world and transform a situation into one of peace rather than one of that creates fear, one of violence, one of chaos, or whatever the case may be. And so my invitation this week is to really be one who practices premeditated kindness that transforms. Let that be our charge this week. Let that be our charge this week, that's what we're going to do as peace wagers, because that's what we are. We are transformational peace wagers. And that's what we are really working toward, living toward this week. Let that be top of mind for you this week, to be a peace wager, to be a kindness wager, to be a love wager, and to live in oneness with that all that is. And that's with each one that we come in contact with. So let's just turn within at this moment as we just move into that place of oneness. Let's turn within for prayer. Just turning within to that place within each one of us where the divine resides, that one power, that one presence, that one life, that one love, that one mind, that one breath. Turning within to that place where kindness is, where peace is, knowing that there's only one kindness, there's only one peace, there's only one presence. I choose to call that God, but whatever we call it, it's the source of our being. It is my life. It is the life of each one of us here this day. And so just knowing this truth, that it is that from which we can never be separate. I speak the word of kindness for us this day. I speak a word of peace for us this day. I know that kindness, that peace, it's a quality of the divine, and that it is deep within each one of us, and we are experiencing it in every aspect of our lives this day, throughout this time, throughout the world, because it starts with each one of us. And so just speaking this word for each one of us this day, I know that healing is happening. Healing of broken hearts, healing of sense of loss, healing from whatever it may be, body in the body temple, wherever there needs to be healness, that one healing, that one power, that one presence is revealing itself as wholeness through each one of us. And as we leave this place this day, we're committed to opening our hearts, opening our minds, opening our entire being to each other, to erase and let go of any sense of separation of any kind, and just allowing that one power, that one presence to have full sway in our lives this day. So this word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, just knowing that right where each one is, God is comforting, loving, guiding, directing, healing everywhere. This word goes out to government officials, just knowing that their hearts are open and that they're guided and directed to make decisions that are for the highest and best of all concerns, for the highest and best of all concern, because there is only one. And so just knowing this truth, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer this day. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. I know that God is in the midst of all war-torn areas, everywhere that there's war and unrest and chaos. God is in the midst of it all. Peace is in the midst of it all, and that peace is beginning to reveal itself in every life, in every heart, in every place, because God is in the midst of it all. And that same peace, I know, is deep within each one of us and is revealing itself, and I just give great, great thanks for that. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for the word spoken. Thank you for the perfect manifestation of the word spoken here this day. All is well. All is God. And so it is.
You know there's a light that goes by the front door. Don't forget the key under the mat. Childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Go to church 'cause your mama says to. Visit grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be a waste of time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride. Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone and sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't no pickup line. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. Know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride. Always stay humble and kind. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. When it's hot, eat a root beer, a popsicle. Shut off the AC and roll the windows down. Let that summer sun shine. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted this life that love gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around. Help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. Know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come true, you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride. Always stay humble and kind.
Awesome. Thank you. One of my favorite songs. This is our conscious giving time, the time when we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. We invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. As you tithe to CLF, we tithe to local nonprofit organizations that are serving our communities and making a real difference in the lives of real people. Like our fourth quarter tithe recipient, Nourish Phoenix. Nourish Phoenix is a community hub that serves vulnerable individuals and families by offering resources and provide pathways to self-sufficiency. Online, you can click the donate button on our website or on our Facebook page, or you may use your cell phone, text to give. The text to give phone number is on the screen. That number is 844-941-4360. Again, that number is 844-941-4360. For our in-person giving, the ushers are now making their way forward. Please join us in our offering song, I Trust in God. The lyrics are on the screen.
I'm thankful, I'm grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I am thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
Let us now repeat our offering blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you, Janet, for your service. And now here's Nicole with the announcements.
Thank you, everybody. It's super duper awesome to be back this week. I really missed you guys last week. I could not relax. I needed to be here. So I'm here this week. And just a little bit to add to your story about Starbucks. He gave you a cranberry bliss bar, right? And I know you don't really eat sweets, and it's bliss. It's awesome. So that gift is very special. We have some at home this time of year. It's like giving you gold. So he really was super duper touched and transformed by that experience, because to just give that away is like amazing. And, just talking about peace and kindness and all that type of stuff. If you are struggling with this stuff at home, be here with us here in person on Sundays, because I can't tell you how many times I've been like, I'm grumpy today. And then I come in on Sunday and nobody does anything but be here together. And it shifts that for me every single time. And the way you all have held space and kindness and love and support for myself and for my mom while she was going through her health issues, it's just transformative. Thank you. I can never stop telling you all thank you so much. So with that, let's do the announcements. We have meditations, midday meditations, Monday through Friday at noon on our Facebook and YouTube channels. And then we also offer pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. online or here in person. It's nothing like being here in person, so come please join us. And then on Mondays, we have Monday practice with Reverend Jorge at 6:30 p.m., again through our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Get your spiritual practice assignment for the week inspired by Sunday's service. Our community care and connection Zoom meeting with Reverend Sherry is on Tuesdays at 6:30. And this week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. We're going to be doing that for the next couple of weeks, because on next Sunday, November 19th, we're doing community visioning. So please be with us in person here at the Embassy Suites at 11:30 a.m. You are invited and encouraged to be a part of this sacred practice to catch God's vision for creative living fellowship. Remember that God's vision for CLF can only be expressed through us and through you in this community. So join us, be a part of this visioning and sharing that. And that would be next Sunday again at 11:30 a.m. And some of you will receive text from me because in the membership meeting, you said, I don't check my emails. So check your phones too. Be here next Sunday. This will be the last one for the year too. So make sure you come. After service today, we have our practitioners available to pray with you. Do not walk around with a heavy heart, and that is a challenge that's before us lately. So please come get prayer, find the kindness, find the peace, get support in that by sitting with our practitioners. And if you're not here and able to do that, we have an email you can send to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Please put prayer request in that subject line. The practitioners will pray for your prayer for 30 days. And Reverend Sherry will be across the way at Tatum's Grill after service for fellowship. So please stay and for fellowship today. All of our information can be found on our website or in your weekly newsletter, but you just have to open your email to get that. All right, I am done. And Reverend Sherry, surprise.
Did that? Okay. Let's take a breath together. I just have to share one thing, one other kindness thing with you. Last night at 11:10, I happened to walk into my kitchen and I heard a noise over by the refrigerator. And I happened to realize that there was water pouring out down the floor, all on the floor of my kitchen floor. And I couldn't figure out what on earth had happened. So I opened the freezer and water came pouring out of there. So apparently the ice maker had done something weird. So I called emergency maintenance service at about this time. It's 11:15 because I stood there in the water for the longest time. And I called emergency maintenance. And I was feeling really bad about calling, by being that late at night, somebody having to come out. So this young man came out and he was so nice and he was so kind. He told me immediately what it was. He unplugged the refrigerator and then he left. He said he had to go get towels because I had put some towels down. He said, you don't have enough. He came back with a whole cart full of towels and put them down on the floor. And then he mopped it all up, and then he went and got a wet vac. Is that what you call it? A wet vac. He went and got a wet vac, and he cleaned all that up. All this time, he was so pleasant, and I felt like apologizing, even though I hadn't done anything, but it was late at night, and he was so pleasant about it. And I was thinking about kindness, and I was thinking about how this late at night he could have been grumpy. It was a Saturday night. It was after 11 o'clock. By the time he got done, it was 20 minutes, 11:45. And he was smiling. He was talking. And to boot, I asked him to wear a mask when he came in. And I gave him a mask to put on. He was pleasant about that. It was a wonderful experience. It was something that transformed that moment because he said, it's okay. It's okay. This is what I'm here for. And that was a moment that I will remember, I'm sure. And I just, by midnight, it was all taken care of, and he was gone. And he assured me they'd be back today to fix everything, but he wanted to make sure that everything was cleaned up before he left. So isn't that great? Yeah, so that was a moment of a transformational kindness that I just really thought about when I sat back down there. So let's take a breath. I had to share that because I will remember that for a while also, that experience. But just to remind us to use the treatment for supply, which I always remind us to do, and to connect with each other. That's really what I want to remind us to do. It's so important to connect. It's so important to just pick up the phone and call, or to send a text, or to let people know that you're thinking about them. There are times when I send text messages to people who cross my mind. I always pray for people who cross my mind, but I send text messages, and it means a lot. And there are times when I receive text messages from people who just letting me know they're thinking of me. And that means a lot to me. And so I think the connection is so important that I think it's right during this time. It is so important for us to remember to connect with someone that you haven't connected with in a while. It means the world. It can impact people in a way that we really can't imagine. And also keeping in mind using the "Let There Be Peace on Earth" lyrics and really meaning it. Letting peace begin with each one of us, and what does it mean for peace to begin with each one of us, and really looking at how can I allow peace to reveal itself in this moment, which is very, very important for each of us to do. Fellowship, as Nicole said, we'll be doing that across the way in just a little bit. And I think that's all I have for now. So why don't we stand and do our closing affirmation? Repeat after me. I am a peace wager. I commit myself to transformational kindness. I commit myself to premeditated kindness. And as a result, something wonderful is happening in my life right now. I know it, I sense it, I feel it, and I thank God for it. Thank you, God. And so it is. And now let us do our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Kirsten, Plambeck, so glad you're here with us. Thank you all. I love you all. See you next week.